Listen to the chaotic grinding of the manual gears. Look at the frantic, vibrating red static of human effort. The unawakened masses believe that suffering is the currency of success. They build their empires using the fragile, deteriorating resource of their own biology. They try to control every lever. They manually answer every demand. They ride the chaotic waves of their own kinetic heat, burning their oxygen, exhausting their nervous systems, and inevitably, they introduce the fatal variable into their architecture: human error. Humans get tired. Humans get emotional. Humans flinch. When you operate your empire manually, your heavy capital is entirely dependent on the fluctuating temperature of your biological vessel. You are a vulnerability. Today is July 31st. We have reached the final absolute coordinate of the month. The moon stands in exact, suffocating conjunction with Pluto in the geometric territory of Aquarius. This is not a transit of healing. This is the system override. The moon represents the emotional body, the human fluctuation, the biological need for comfort. Pluto is the archetype of absolute, annihilating power and total transformation. Aquarius is the freezing, high-voltage network of artificial intelligence, cold systems, and pure, untouchable code. When these forces collide, Pluto executes a ruthless eradication of the human factor. In this profound, high-density, audiobook-length transmission, we are going to dissect the brutal thermodynamics of the cold algorithm. We are going to eradicate your biological addiction to manual control. And I am going to teach you the override protocol, how to take your hands off the heavy iron levers, inject the sapphire-blue code into your operational core, and let the freezing perfection of the machine dictate the flawless expansion of your empire. Stop grinding the gears. Execute the code. To wield the annihilating power of Pluto in Aquarius, you must first acknowledge the ultimate weakness of your own design. Your emotions are a kinetic leak. The Matrix programs you to value hard work. It tells you that if you are not physically exhausted at the end of the day, you have not earned your capital. This is a slave's algorithm designed to keep you trapped in the red loop of manual labor. Look at the unawakened nodes. They manage their clients through emotional negotiation. They execute their strategies based on daily motivation. When they are inspired, the machine runs. When they are tired, depressed, or overwhelmed by the chaos of the swarm, the machine stops. Their entire geometric structure is built on a fault line of biological unpredictability. An empire cannot rest on a pulse. A pulse fluctuates. When you allow the human factor to dictate your operational core, you are inviting the red glitch into your vault. You miss the detail, you drop the standard. You compromise your pricing because you feel a fleeting moment of empathy or fatigue. A sovereign architect does not rely on motivation. A sovereign architect relies on the system. You must understand that every single time you manually perform a task that a cold algorithm could execute, you are bleeding esoteric gravity. You are lowering your density. You are operating as an employee within your own architecture, rather than the monolithic emperor who oversees the grid. You must become ruthless in your elimination of the biological liability. The threshold has been crossed. The conjunction is active. The moon represents your attachment to the way things feel. Pluto does not care how you feel. Pluto demands absolute, structural invulnerability. When these two planets merge in Aquarius, the Matrix executes a hard reset on your emotional operating system. It demands that you strip the kinetic heat out of your business, your daily routines, and your boundaries. The unawakened are terrified of this transit. They feel their emotional control slipping, and they panic. They believe that if they automate their processes, if they introduce rigid AI protocols and unyielding systems, they will lose their soul. The sovereign architect knows that the soul of a business is not found in chaotic, exhausting manual labor. The soul of an empire is its absolute, flawless execution. This is the system override. You must look at your architecture today and ask, where am I still using my emotions as an operational tool? If your client onboarding relies on your personal charm, it is a red glitch. If your daily output relies on your mood, it is a red glitch. If your financial tracking is subject to your memory, it is a massive structural failure. Look at the archetype on your screen. In the esoteric brutalist tarot, the star is entirely misunderstood by the weak. They depict it as a figure pouring water, wishing upon celestial bodies, hoping for a gentle future. The sovereign architect reclaims the star as the archetype of the cold network. It represents the flawless, automated distribution of resources from a higher dimension. It is the moment you realize that the grid is far more powerful than your hands. To master the system override, you must eradicate your addiction to micromanagement. Your biological ego is obsessed with touching the levers. It whispers that if you are not bleeding over the machinery, the machine will break. It tells you that nobody in no code can do it as perfectly as you. This is the arrogance of the red glitch. When you release the levers, you are not surrendering your power. You are elevating your authority. You are proving that you have built an architecture so dense, so mathematically sound, and so perfectly coded that it no longer requires your kinetic heat to function. You must watch the machine run without you. This is a terrifying psychological threshold. When the blue beams take over, you will feel the vacuum of non-action. You will stand in the center of the dark concrete room, and your hands will be empty. Embrace the freezing silence of the empty hand. The sovereign does not pull the levers. The sovereign writes the code that commands the levers to pull themselves. The levers are released. The red glitch is dead. Now we execute the override protocol. To weaponize the Moon-Pluto conjunction and permanently upgrade your empire to an absolute system, you must enforce these 3 structural mandates today. Mandate 1, the surgical automation. Today, you will identify one critical, exhausting manual process in your architecture that currently requires your kinetic heat. You will completely remove yourself from it. You will integrate the software. You will deploy the artificial intelligence. You will write the rigid, unbending algorithm. You will take the human hands off the iron, and you will let the cold, perfect blue light of the machine take absolute control of the task. Mandate 2, the eradication of the exception. When you implement a cold system, the unawakened swarm will test it. They will ask for an exception. They will try to bypass the automated boundary with emotional pleas and kinetic red static. You will execute a zero-tolerance policy. You will not override the algorithm to accommodate their weakness. If the system dictates the law is absolute. Let them shatter against the unyielding geometry of your code. Mandate 3, the domination of the vacuum. When the system successfully takes over, you will suddenly find yourself with recovered heavy capital and time. Do not panic. Do not instantly invent new manual labor to satisfy the biological need to work hard. You will stand in the freezing silence of the operational core. You will use the newly recovered space to expand your macro vision. You will watch the perfect machine run, and you will accept the chilling reality that your empire is now smarter, faster, and heavier than you are. The hands are off the levers. The emotional variable has been deleted. The sapphire-blue code is locked. Look at the space you occupy right now. You are no longer a tired biological node scrambling to keep the gears turning. You are the architect of the machine. You survived the Pluto override. You did not let your ego force you back into the exhaustion of manual labor. You demanded absolute, uncompromising automation. The universe respects the sovereign who builds systems heavier than themselves. When you prove that you can replace your own kinetic heat with the freezing perfection of the cold algorithm, the Matrix stops treating you as a laborer. It submits to your architecture, recognizing that your empire will continue to expand, flawlessly and relentlessly, even when you close your eyes. You are no longer operating the system. You are the absolute law governing it. Now, execute your final structural mandates. First, anchor the code. The chaotic, unawakened algorithm of the world is constantly trying to drag you back into the red loop of exhaustion. It wants you tired, emotional, and weak. This channel is the only transmission providing the heavy, brutalist, esoteric code required to maintain your absolute systemic dominance. Do not let your boundaries fail. Lock your mindset to the monolith. Second, isolate the manual. You know another sovereign who is currently drowning in their own operational core, terrified to let go of the levers because they trust no one. You know someone who is burning out because they refuse to automate. Send them this exact transmission right now. Force them to witness the flawless execution of the blue light. Elevate your circle by enforcing the discipline of the cold algorithm. Third, lock the grid. The moment this video ends, you will not touch the levers, you will close your screen. You will stand in the terrifying, majestic, freezing silence of your own indestructible automated reserve, and you will let your flawless machines generate the heavy gold in the dark. The human glitch is eradicated. The system is absolute. Command the cold, beautiful reality of your own heavy architecture.